All right, guys. Hello. This is Dan Grieb with Integrity Performance Coaching. I am here with Derrik Schweppe, one of our great coaches, and today we are doing our coaches update, our first coaches spotlight with Derrik Schweppe. So congratulations, Derrik. Thank you for being part of this with us.
Thank you. Of
So Derrik, I'd like to jump right in if it's okay.
course.
All right, and what we're going to talk about today, Derrik, is how you transitioned from your previous job into coaching, and then what's happened since you've been in coaching, the growth that you've experienced in your personal life, in your family, as well as a coach. Do you mind if we kind of jump right in and make that our topics today?
Yeah, please. That's great.
All right, perfect. So Derrik, let's start by tell our audience a little bit about you. Where do you live? Tell us about your family.
Yeah, Derrik Schweppe. I live in Ogden, Utah, just north of Salt Lake City. I am happily married. I have a beautiful wife, and I have two just insanely precious little kids that are way cuter than I ever deserved, and children, little almost 5-year-old and almost 3-year-old, and life is good.
Oh, that's awesome. It sounds like you have an amazing family. I can't wait to meet them one day. I've obviously seen a lot of photos about them. So let's rewind to the beginning of the year, maybe even last year. So what was going on in your life last year prior to joining Integrity Performance Coaching? What were you doing, and what was life like?
Yeah. I'll kind of give you my medium long story. So I've come from sales. I've been in sales with a lot of different companies, startups, established companies, Fortune 500 companies. And 2 years ago, previous many years, I've been in dental sales.
Mm-hmm.
Loved it. I was good at it. Great job. I had to travel a lot the last few years, which was hard. It's hard being away from family when you have little kids, especially. Like every few days I was in an airplane in a different state, and everyone says, "Oh, you're so lucky you get to travel for business." And I always tell them, like, it's only so cool to eat a nice steak dinner by yourself night after night. So it was a great job though. I loved it. And then about 2 years ago, my wife, who was 29 at the time, got diagnosed with a really aggressive form of breast cancer out of nowhere. Shook our world. You don't expect that at 29. I don't think there's anything that can prepare you for that. And through all of that, she's great. Spoiler alert to the end of the journey. She's fine, but it was a really gnarly 16, 18 months. It was really hard. It was hard on our family. It was hard on everyone around us. It was just really intense. So grateful she came out the other end healthy and strong. The kind of the sad part of that story was right in the middle of that, my best friend was diagnosed with testicular cancer. Same thing, out of nowhere, 33 years old. And he was in a coma in 4 weeks, and he passed away just a few weeks later.
Wow.
And for me, I'm not a super introspective person. I'm pretty optimistic. I'm pretty outgoing. Kind of what you see is what you get. And that was the first time maybe in my life that I really sat down and did a really, really in-depth inventory of where am I? What am I doing? Who am I? Where am I going? What do I want in life? And my priorities changed 100%. I went from saying, I want to have this many millions of dollars by this age, to saying, I want to have 1 day a week extra with my family every week. So that's my story of kind of what led me to here. And I can go further, but I'll send it back to you.
No, that's great. And thank you for being vulnerable and for sharing that story. You've been through a lot, no doubt about it. Your wife being diagnosed with cancer at 29 years old, breast cancer, that's what we think older women have. And it shows up in your life, and you got to take that on. And then on top of that, you've got your best friend having cancer, and then he passes away. So cancer is cancer, and you start probably, a real wreck thinking the same's going to happen to my wife. And then you decide you're going to make change. Like I'm going to stop chasing dollars, and I'm going to start chasing experiences, more time with my family, more time with those that I love, and kind of realigned your priorities. Is that a good recap?
100%. I made the realization that life is shorter than we can realize sometimes. And I'm not going to get to the end of the life sitting on, a bunch of money being super psyched. I'm going to be the end of my life having looked back at the experiences I had with my family, and that's way more valuable than any amount of money to me.
Yeah, totally get that. And yet, unfortunately, in this life, unless we are blessed with, a financial windfall, hit the lottery or get a big, a big inheritance or a settlement because you got hit by a car or something, you're going to have to work. You're going to have to do something to put food on the table. So here's my question for you. Why did you choose coaching? Why did you decide to go and be an IPC coach?
You know what? It's an interesting story. So, and I tell people that our company finds you. You don't find it. And during all of this, so one of our founders of the company, Abe Shreve, has been my mentor for many years, and he was really close going through all this. We stayed in contact a lot, and I knew that this coaching program was coming down the line, and I made the decision that I was going to take some time off from my job. I was going to leave my job, and I was going to take 3-4 months off just to spend with my family, knowing that we'd been through a lot, and I wanted to make up for those tough times. And I wanted to go to Disneyland. I wanted to go camping. I wanted to go on a trip. I wanted to go skiing with my kids. So I kind of had made that decision. And during all of that, right when I was ready to make that transition, this company, Maps Business Coaching and Integrity Performance Coaching, kind of found me, and Abe approached me and said, you should be a coach. Have you thought about being a coach? And I didn't realize that what I'd been doing in previous jobs was a form of coaching. Mm-hmm. I didn't know a lot about it, and I had him explain it to me, and if I could write down kind of what my ideal career would be with my personality type, knowing who I am, it ticks a lot of boxes on coaching. It's fulfilling. I get to work with people. I'm energized by working with people, and it allows me flexibility to be with my family, which is the big thing. So that was a long roundabout answer of how I got here, and really how I got with integrity performance coaching is it was really before MAPS was fully established, and Abe said, I made the decision to come coach, and Abe said, I'm going to put you on Dan and Charlotte's team at Integrity Performance Coaching. You'll thank me later. And that's all I said. I didn't know what was going on, but I trust the man, so I went with it, and I couldn't have had somebody else make a better decision for my future.
I love that. That's awesome. Well, good. So, going back here, so you decide to spend more time with your family, and you're analyzing. What am I going to do next? You're going to take some time off. And Derrik, you were successful in sales. Let's be honest, right?
Yeah.
You didn't leave a job where you were making $16 an hour.
No.
We're talking about a 6-figure plus job, benefits, expense accounts, all that stuff, right?
The car, the phone. It's the typical golden handcuffs job that, if you perform well, which I did, you could stay there forever and live a great life.
Yeah. I love that. And you decide, I'm going to give all that up. I've heard this story once where someone said, you stand in front of 2 doors. One's marked opportunity, one's marked security. When you choose security, you lose both.
Yeah.
And you chose opportunity. And you said, I'm going to go out and give this entrepreneurial thing, this coaching thing a try. And you've been with us for 8 months now. What does your life look like now? I mean, in terms of quality of life, how does that look for you?
Yeah, and that's great. And I'm going to back up a little bit before I answer that one. And part of that process, when I decided to make the decision to take some time off with my family, something that Tim Ferriss had said one time is what, on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad could it be? Like, if I quit my job, how bad is it really going to be, like, finding your job? And I realized that I have a great resume. I have a great track record. So it was a risk, and I was going out, and it's scary for a lot of people to take 4 months off and not have a job when you come back. But I knew that with what I knew and what I'd learned, I could replace that. So it was worth the risk for me. And where I am now, life it's different in the best kind of way.
Yeah. Explain that. Different in the best kind of way. So what does that mean?
So I made the decision when I started coaching, you're able to pick your own schedule, which is great. So I made the decision to stack my coaching schedule into 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And I didn't do that for any other reason than I wanted to ensure that I had a 4-day weekend with my family every weekend. And this may not be something long-term. In a couple of years, I may say, okay, I want to add another day. But for me right now, my one thing is my family. So I am home in the morning. I am home for dinner at night, which I was often not home for dinner when I was traveling. Every Monday I changed our nanny. So every Monday now I spend the day with my two kids. We do whatever we want. We go play, we go to the aquarium, we go to the amusement park, we just adventure. And that time I'm going to look back in the future at those Mondays when it's just us three, and I'm going to have the greatest memories of that. Much greater than I'm going to have of the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday that I coached to support that. Even though the coaching is fantastic and I love that as well, but you get it.
I totally get it. And I love that you are living a life now that we would say is a life by design and not by a life by default. And what's crazy is that it took a life event, your wife getting cancer, to shake you out of this institutional mindset, get a job, work in it for 30 years, then retire, which is still the mindset out there. Even though we're in a new mindset of millennials, it's still really this whole kind of security over time. So you just got to grind away. And then one day you'll have the time to spend with your kids. But 30 years from now, your kids are 35 years old, 39 years old, and you've missed a large portion of their life. So you've made a conscious decision to do that. So good for you.
100%.
Yeah, good for you for doing that. So let's dig into a different area. And, coaching it's not counseling. It's not consulting. It's this different thing. It's this coactive relationship. We call it a sacred relationship with people, where we help them get what they want. We hold them accountable to their goals. We help them plan out their future, and we advocate for them having it all, not just one area of their life, but all areas of their life. With that being said, here at IPC, we believe that we are the first practitioners, right? We are not the thought leaders. We are the practitioners of what we teach. So 8 months ago, you were not a coach. You were living, a year ago, you were living this new life, this other life. You started this new journey. How has what you've learned to coach others benefited you and your family personally?
Oh my gosh, I could talk for the next hour just about this, but the selfish reason why I really love coaching, one of the reasons is it forces me to be the best version of myself. I need to constantly be pouring into my own personal development, making sure I'm performing at a really high level. And so I can come to the table and help clients. And I'm a goal setter. I've had, plans and visions. What coaching has done for me is I live by a business plan. I have a business plan for my business, a very simple, concise one that's quantitative, and I know exactly the levers I need to pull to achieve my goals. And I have a business plan for my personal life with similar actions. So I know I can tell myself every month, and I can quantify that and know exactly if I'm winning or losing, which before I could do that with my sales job, but I didn't really have that for my personal life. I was just kind of going through the motions, and we did a lot of fun things, but that alone has added so much more clarity into my life and the priorities between business and family that I can't even imagine having a year ago.
Beautiful. And so let's keep digging. I mean, I love the clarity you got there. And this is important to me, that. So this may not actually be on our things I told you I'd ask you about. How are you a better father as a result?
One of the things with coaching compared to my last job is, and I didn't realize this, but I was always a little bit gripped. I was always waiting for the next fire to put out. I would go to the zoo at 6 p.m. and just habitually be checking my phone, like, oh, what's coming up? Who needs help? What's going on? Always a little bit anxious, knowing that something was coming. And the great thing with coaching is I'm helping clients in between calls, but it's never as crazy a situation. I mean, no one's calling with their house burning down at 9 p.m. or super early. And it was one night, it was just a random time. It was like 2:30 in the morning. And my little girl, who's 4, had a bad dream. She got up, I went and I laid in her bed with her, put her back to bed. And I went and laid in my bed, and I was a little bit awake just from the adrenaline and from getting up in the middle of the night. And I felt so calm and so at peace, something I really hadn't felt, that I hadn't realized I hadn't felt. And I realized it was because of the clarity I have in my life, where I am so much more present with my family than I ever was without realizing it. And looking back, I wish I would have known that then, but knowing what I know now make sure that those Mondays I have with my kids and those evenings and those extra weekends with my family, that I am present and I am there with them, not just constantly worrying about what's going to happen at work.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, you know, every job has its level of stress and anxiety and preparation and other things with that. And there's no doubt about it that this one isn't always easy. You know, you're going to have clients that lay some pretty heavy stuff on you, and you might help them carry the load and it might come home. But what I'm hearing you say is that when you're with your family, you're actually with your family. I mean, one of the big things we teach here at IPC, matter of fact, effective today, all of our coaches agreed to this in IPC, is that we have committed that we are going to make it a covenant to be a coach as part of Integrity Performance Coaching, that you must live the life of the one thing, which means that you have to operate from a 411, which is a basic document that allows you to narrow everything down to the one thing. And here at Integrity Performance Coaching, we teach business and performance, the business life, the growing of the business, the developing of the people there, the profits and the losses, all of that stuff. But we also take an equal amount of time to develop the human being, the performance side. So every one of our coaches actually has business, job, family, health, wealth. It's all on their 411, and they're all required to follow that. They're also required to follow a GPS, which is a mini business plan. They also are now agreeing to use a paper calendar so that they can run their time can't run them. And this is not just so they can be more effective as a coach. Matter of fact, it is the least of the benefits. It's so they can be more effective with their family where it counts. Mm-hmm. And Derrik, you said that you are actually putting those into place in your family and in business, and it's affecting you positively in all those areas as a father, as a husband, and I love that, and thank you for sharing that. So there are people that are going to be watching this. You know, there's a number of folks on now. There'll be some that are watching via Facebook or YouTube, or they just may see this in the future. What does coaching look like for a guy like you that 8 months ago, I mean, really, you didn't know the coaching language. You didn't know what a 411 was. You didn't know what career visioning is or any of this language we speak of coaching. But yet, how many clients do you have?
About 21.
You have 21 clients in 8 months. How close to replacing your six-figure income are you at this point? Are you on track to do that?
I am. Yeah, I'm almost 100%.
So you've almost 100% replaced your six-figure income while working 3 days a week, improving your family life, being a better husband, being a better dad,
and helping others.
What?
And helping others. That's the greatest thing. It's not me going out and doing something selfishly, like literally changing the world by helping the business professional improve their lives.
Yeah. So I love that. So give me you don't have to tell me exactly names of people or anything, but tell me who are some of the people you're coaching. Like, what do they do? What are their jobs? What are their businesses? What are you coaching?
Wow, I coach a lot of different industries. I say of the 21 clients, there are probably 16 different industries.
Yeah, share those with me.
So I coach a few coaches who saw my success and asked me to help them. I coach a former professional hockey player who then analyzes game footage of hockey players and coaches them to improve their game. And we're working to franchise that system out to other sports and bring other coaches in. Multiple business owners who have multi-million, tens of $1 million net worth and yearly revenue, where we're working to make sure that they have clarity on what they're doing and accountability on the things that are going to get them to where they want to be. And I mean, I could go through every person. Everybody is so different. I mean, we've worked with artists. We've worked with international automation companies. We've worked with construction companies. And the cool thing that I've learned is I'm not the expert in these fields. I'm not an expert in this international automation system or in construction, but I have mastered the fundamentals of business that are required to take people to that next level. And so it's cool. And that everybody's problems, not saying everybody's issues that they're dealing with in business while they might feel unique to them, they're pretty common across all industries.
Love that. So you kind of answered my question, and I was about to say this. You do not sound qualified as a salesperson to be coaching somebody that has an international automation business. That sounds very techie to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see a bunch of computers behind you. You don't appear to be wearing any antennas on your head. So I'm struggling to understand in how in 8 months you're qualified to do that. Now, you said you had some experience in sales, but yet in 8 months you were able to master the basics of business. Elaborate on that.
So I think it goes back even further than 8 months. Which I didn't realize, which my coach Dan Grebe, where we were talking about this, is, a lot of the steps and the career choices I made and the experiences of my life have led me to be the leader I am, and have taught me the lessons I need to know to effectively impact others' lives. And I've been training, I've been training for almost exactly a year. So I trained for about 4 or 5 months before I started working with clients pretty in depth. And, I don't know everything. It's not the coach's purpose to know everything. The client is the expert in the industry. It's the coach is the facilitator to help them get out of the weeds. It's hard to read the label when you're inside the box. So it's to help them get that clarity of where they are, where they're going, and what it's going to take to get there, and then holding them accountable to those steps to ensure that they achieve those levels that will make them the best version of themselves. Beautiful.
Love that. So as we start wrapping up here, Derrik, I have a few other questions I wrote down for you here. And that the number one, as we finish up, one of the last questions that I wrote down was, we've heard a lot of the benefits. You get to make your own schedule. In less than 8 months, you've replaced a 6-figure income. You have the ability to continue. If you wanted to double that and make it, several hundred thousands in income, you could. Is that legitimate?
Absolutely.
So it's possible to do, to do big dollars here. You get to contribute to others. It impacts your family at a great level. It can't all be rosy. What hesitations did you have at the beginning? What limitations did you have at the beginning, or thoughts did you have at the beginning that actually didn't show up? And now you've seen right through them, and now you're successful in what you're doing.
Kind of the self-limiting belief of who am I to work with this guy who has a $20 million net worth, or $15 million net worth, that's done more business this year than I've done in the past few years. Mm-hmm. And it was hard. I remember I went into my first coaching call. I'd been preparing for months. I had our systems down, models. I mean, I just read an absurd amount of books and was just constantly working to be the best I could be, so I could show up at 100% for these clients. And I remember I got on that, I'm not going to be able to impact them. It's going to be like, this is great information. It's not going to help them. And I got on that first call, and we got into their business, because it's about them. It's not about me. We got into their business, and we saw, even after those first couple calls, saw significant change in their business, which was affecting positively their personal life. Mm-hmm. And that shattered the glass for me. I realized what I have, the world needs, and I haven't looked back. And it's been pretty life-changing, not only for myself, but for a lot of my clients I'm working with as well.
That's true. That's quite beautiful. And that's our mission. I mean, to hear you say that as a coach is clearly our mission. The reason why we're doing this call is we want to dispel the myth that, doing this video is we want to dispel this myth that you have to know everything to be a coach, or you have to be so polished, or to be able to coach businesses, you have to have been doing it for 10 years already. Derrik, you were a successful salesperson, and you've transitioned in less than 8 months into being one of our top coaches already. And I honor you for that. If there were people that are watching this video, and they had some limiting beliefs in their head, and they had some hesitation, some concerns still, what advice would you give them about taking the first step and taking a good hard look at becoming a coach?
Take the first step. You could sit and analyze, and you could have those limiting beliefs, and you could believe, I'm not good enough. I don't know where this is going. I don't see it. But you don't know until you take action.
Love that. Love that. Love that. Well, thank you very much, Derrik. Is there anything else that you would like to share with any of our potential coaches or clients that might watch this video in the future?
You know, the mission of IPC is to impact the business, is to create generational change by impacting the lives of business owners. And anything less of that, anything short of that is unacceptable. So I'm honored to be here. I am amazed and just fulfilled by what we've accomplished. And I cannot wait to see what the future holds, because it's upwards and upwards.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sharing that. And for those of you that are considering being a coach, feel free to reach out to me through direct message on Facebook, or email me directly, dan@coachipc.com. You're always welcome to email Charlotte, my partner, as well, and that's charlotte@coachipc.com. You know, what we're offering here is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to really change the world, and to start by changing your own world. See, we don't want you to come in and be part of what we're doing here just so that more money can be raised for a company, or just so that we can impact them. We really want this to be a place where you can be impacted, and then you can take that impact, you can take that learning, and you can go and share it with the world. Derrik has expressed today how it has affected him in those ways. And I'm really glad that we have a model of someone that's gone from a six-figure job, leaving a six-figure job, to almost completely replacing that in 8 months. And here's my thought. Don't wait for a life event to make this change. You know, Derrik is blessed. His wife had cancer, and she recovered. She's doing great. You know, what would this story sound like if maybe she didn't make it? And he had waited 20 years and this event hit him. What kind of regret would he be going through? You know, we want to live a life without regret. And so if you feel like you owe it to yourself to have a conversation like this, you know, you're always welcome to reach out to me, Charlotte, like I said. And Derrik, if folks just want to reach out to you and talk to you about your experience as a coach, or to hire you as a coach, you have some great experience, life experience, no doubt about it. How can they reach out to you?
So you can email me at Derrik, DERRIK, @coachipc.com, Facebook. My last name is Schweppe, SCHWEPPE. Both my names are hard to spell. Apologies, everybody, in advance. But please reach out. If you have questions, I am happy to. I will be transparent. And I will help however I can.
Well, it's been an honor, Derrik. And for those that are watching this in the future, again, reach out to us if we can help you. It sounds like our mission of affecting our coaches and providing them with a platform to change the world is actually happening. You are an example of that, Derrik. Thank you very much. We honor you. God bless you. And God bless all of those that are watching this tonight. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Thanks, Dan.